Okay, let's be honest. The Bible has some really weird stories. Like there's one guy who stabbed in the head with a tent peg. There's a couple of women who get pregnant when they definitely should not be getting pregnant. There's a man who has a giant stomach, and when he is stabbed, the knife actually gets lost in his fat. There's some weird stuff, but all of these stories are significant. They have meaning and a purpose when you look at the big picture. So today we're going to focus on a story that takes place in Numbers 21. But we have to rewind a little bit and start in Exodus. So there were these Israelites, and they had been in Egypt and they had had a pretty good life. But then the Pharaoh died, and they got a new Pharaoh. And the new Pharaoh was afraid of them. So he made them his slaves, and they had to do some hard work.
It's so heavy! It's so hot! I'm so tired!
They were in slavery, they were miserable, and they asked God for help. So you think that there would be this sense of, I don't know, gratitude? No. All they did was complain.
Seriously? Sand, 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 sand! Could you give me some water, please? What's for breakfast today? Manna. What's for lunch? Dinner? Manna. I have something I just need to share, you know? It's about this leader, this Moses guy. Calls himself chosen by God. Well, I don't know about that. And that campaign, let's make Israel great again. Woo!
So they complained that there was not enough food and enough water. And they complained that Moses was not actually a good leader. They just were not happy, not content. So then the time comes, they arrive at the base of Mount Sinai, and God's presence is on top of the mountain.
God? Oh, God! Whew! Oh, light!
Yeah, it's crazy. Like God was there. So you think that there would be this sense of faithfulness? No. No, again with the complaining. So at one point they have to walk around this city. They'd like to just go right through it, but they can't. And this brings us to Numbers chapter 21. And they start complaining again. So God, understandable I feel at this point, is frustrated and done. They've even complained he's brought them to the land where they are supposed to be, their safe place, their good place, their place of freedom, and they complained about it.
It's like 7 feet tall men walking around here. It's scary.
So they are having to walk around, and they're so upset, and they're complaining, and God, that's it, he's done. So he sends these snakes.
Ah! Oh! It's a snake! Oh! Ouch! Ah! Ah!
So again, they call out to God, save us, help us, help us. And God provides that way. He has Moses make this snake and stick it up on a pole, and when they look at the pole, they will be healed if they've been bit. So we see that this struggle, these issues that they have, are because of their own thing, because of what they have done. And yet, God, though he does punish, though he does correct them when they are wrong, he also provides that way of redemption. Now I know this is pretty crazy, it's in the Old Testament, and people are like, why do we even read the Old Testament? But John 3:14-15 says, just as Moses lifted the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man will be lifted up, so that people may have eternal life in him. Jesus on the cross is that way for us today to be healed from the poison of sin, which is incredible. So I know this story may seem weird when you just look at it, right? There are people wandering in the desert, they get bit by snakes, they're dying. All of a sudden we have a snake on a pole and they're healed. That seems crazy. But when you look at Jesus and you look at Jesus dying on the cross, it makes sense and it's pretty awesome.